Hey guys, welcome back to The Mind of Brandon, and welcome back to another sexy Saturday. As indicated by the title of this video, the word gender is subject to interpretation. Now, the inspiration for today's video is some commentary that was left on a previous video of mine titled, Bill Nye is right about the sex spectrum. Let's go ahead and have a look at that commentary.
You're so fucking stupid, it physically hurts me.
As you can see, this individual didn't even address anything I had to say in my video. They just came along and started stooping to name-calling. So I said to them, care to go into detail? To which they responded,
Sure. By the way, sorry for being kind of aggressive earlier, but the point is you can't just change your gender as if it's on a spectrum.
Well, actually, it depends. It depends on how you're using the word gender. Because you got to keep in mind, as is the case with so many other words in the English language, the word gender has multiple usages. There are different ways of using the word. It's subject to interpretation. Now, one of the usages of the word gender, of course, is in reference to biological sex, whatever that's supposed to be. We, of course, established in the video you're commenting on that even biological sex is kind of subject to interpretation. It's not really clear what it is that makes someone this sex or that sex. Do we go off the genitalia? Do we go off the chromosomes? Because sometimes we're getting mixed signals, right? Now, while using the word gender in reference to biological sex is pretty common, it is kind of losing popularity. A way that's gaining popularity sees gender as something separate from biological sex, referring to more categorically specific identities. And so in this context, if we were to talk of a male or a female, those would be understood as biological sexes, whereas if we were to talk about a boy or a girl or a man or a woman, those would be understood as gender identities. It could also include demi-boy, demi-girl, trans man, trans woman, things like that, okay? So when you say that you can't just change your gender, if your point is something along the lines of you can't change from XY chromosomes to XX, well, I totally agree with you. That's not within my skill set. As far as I know, I don't have the ability to change my chromosomes. I don't think anybody else does. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, I don't think anyone can do that, right? That being said, people can change the way that they identify. They can, change the way that they perceive themselves, the way that they express themselves to others. So if the word gender is being used to refer to chromosomes, no, we can't change our gender, but if it's being used to refer to our identity, then of course we can change our gender.
If people really claim that all of these new genders are not a choice, then why do they describe it like there's so many options? And why does he describe it like it's on a spectrum?
Well, I don't know which specific people you're talking about or which specific new genders you might be referring to. I don't know if you're conflating something that, me and Bill Nye are talking about with some stuff that some other people are talking about. I don't know. You'd have to clarify that. That being said, again, what you're saying here shows that you're not accounting for the fact that the word gender is subject to interpretation, okay? Because let's face it, depending on what we mean by gender, either it's something that you cannot control, or it's something that you can control. You can choose a gender identity, okay? It just depends on how you're using the word.
Besides, the common argument I hear from people such as Bill Nye is intersex. Yet intersex is not gender defining. It is simply a birth defect. If it was simply a gender, then people with intersex wouldn't have different medical conditions and abnormalities such as small testicles and high voice. If something is really a new gender, or gender defining, then why would it cause so many disabilities and disadvantages in the people who have it?
Okay, well, once again, you are saying stuff that it doesn't make any sense to say if we're operating within the context of thought that gender is subject to interpretation, has different ways of being used. If we're talking about intersex, you got to keep in mind there's going to be an array of different kinds of intersex, and so it makes sense that all those different kinds of intersex people are going to appropriate different gender identities. Now, some great examples of this would be like when someone's born with both a penis and a vagina, or some kind of blend of the two, a vagina penis or penis vagina, right? Or if they're born with a penis, but they have XX chromosomes instead of the expected XY, or if they're born with a vagina, but they have XY chromosomes instead of the expected XX. Or what about if their genitalia undergoes masculinization, but their brain undergoes feminization, or if their genitalia experiences feminization, but their brain undergoes masculinization. Or what if in prenatal development they undergo masculinization, but in puberty they undergo feminization, and vice versa. And of course, in recent news, we have a guy who, actually, I think there was a couple of these actually, but there's at least one guy who has been experiencing periods. Yeah, bleeding out of his penis. Upon closer inspection, the guy has like a working female reproductive system inside of him. It went through his life thinking of himself as male. He looks male. He has a wife that he has heterosexual sex with theoretically, and a working penis produces sperm, but he's got a working female reproductive system within him, or at least he did. He underwent a procedure and got that taken care of. But yeah, there was a uterus in there, womb, cervix, so it's, theoretically, if the guy had gotten a vaginoplasty, he could have gotten impregnated. Okay, so these are just some examples of the different kinds of intersex that we can expect to see. And you can, of course, expect people to come up with different gender identities to use in association with that.
Besides, intersex is an extremely rare occurrence.
Oh, yeah, it's rare, right, of course. Just like I mentioned in the video you're commenting on. Did you even watch the video? Seriously, like it kind of seems like you saw the title of it, you clicked on it, left a comment without actually watching it. If you did watch it, then I certainly don't see any evidence that you paid attention to what was being said. And if you were paying attention to what was being said, I certainly don't see any evidence that you understood what was being said. And if you did understand what was being said, then why the hell are you leaving these weird comments down here? This makes no sense. Well, hopefully y'all got something out of that video. Let me know down in the comment section below if it helped you out in some way. If you're interested in helping me out, I do have a Patreon account linked down below in the description box. You can go donate there if you want to, right? That's it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other people. If you're interested in watching my future videos, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next ones. Have a good one, guys, and peace.